those types of
Sure.
things.
And how many quarries does Matthew have in the township or the county as a whole?
We have three quarries in Houston County that are active.
And this one currently is not active.
It's active, it's grandfathered, but it's not as active as the other ones.
When was the last time mining occurred on this particular mine site?
I don't want to misspeak, so I can't answer that, but we've had activity in there with chips and things within the last 7 years, so.
Okay. And when did the mining start? Houston County's still trying to grip. I mean, for the longest time, citizens and even officials tried to figure out how many mines there were and who owned them, and they're still figuring that out, as Mr. Hafner can speak to. But when did this particular mine begin?
I can't answer.
1973.
Yeah, I can't answer.
Okay.
that.
I moved
Okay.
here in '69, it was up there then.
It was up there then?
I
Okay.
was born in '44 and was there then.
And you remember?
Well, vaguely.
Geez, Larry, I thought you were so much younger. I don't think I have any more questions. Bruce, do you have any questions?
Can't speak.
Yeah, you can.
Mr. Chips,
Yes, sir.
you're not the chairman.
No,
You
I'm
take
part of
the
the
turn.
public.
Why are you so angry?
No, I'm not. I just, there's
You're
an order.
treating me like you're
There's an
very
or-
angry.
Ma'am, there's an order to take here, okay? Now it's open to the public. The citizens, as Mr. Chips rightly pointed out, the order was the citizens and the township.
Except
He
you shut
spoke-
me down.
What did you say to me when I asked you the question if you lived in the township? You said no.
Well,
So now it's your turn. Ask your questions.
Well, Jeremy already asked the one that I did ask. I am worried about runoff, and the water that you haul up there, you just expect it to evaporate? From
It'll
the pond.
infiltrate into the ground or evaporate. Yeah, none of it will run off the site.
Well, yeah, I mean, the water we haul up there for dust control is used for dust control, so there is no runoff from that. It's basically evaporated. Once we spray it onto the rock to control the dust, it's
And
evaporated.
the water that is in the pond, in the holding pond, that is just to evaporate out?
No, it stays in the holding pond, and then we recycle it. So then we remove a fine lime. When the pond is full, we remove a fine lime and we refill it with fresh water. Farmers use our lime all the time for ag lime in the field, so.
With flocculants in it?
What's the purpose of the flocculants?
Flocculants help
Settle.
settle the fines out, so you don't need humongous ponds, if you will. You can reduce the amount of area you actually have to have ponds in, so.
Which makes rivers and other things settle too. The other thing I am concerned about are water tables. How deep are you expecting to go with this? Because once you take the top off, we lose our filter for our water. That bothers me.
The floor of the quarry is at 1032 elevation. It's on your little map there. I don't know where groundwater is. It's quite a distance, probably a couple hundred feet to groundwater,
Most of the wells in this area are
at least.
yeah, a high cap well would be 500 to 700 feet probably.
Right.
Most of our wells across the river are 700 to 800 feet, our high cap wells. So our high cap well would pull from the same aquifer that the city of La Crescent pulls from. Probably not. The residential wells will be substantially shallower than that in the top of the sandstone, where we're down into the deeper sandstones. Yeah, you're true. I mean, the dolomite does serve as a filter, but the sandstone below us, which is not mineable for construction ags or concrete stone, is actually the better filter.
Isn't it a karst product? though?
No, the karst is actually the limestone on top
Yes.
that has crevices in it. So agricultural runoff could go through the karst topography, but the actual filter is the sandstone layer below our quarry. So, and we actually have less chemicals on our mine sites than a typical farming operation. We have diesel fuel and motor oils. Those are the two primary. Yes, we have WD-40 in the trailers and we have those types of things, but we have less chemicals on our sites than the typical farming operation, and we have the spill containment kits. If we have a hose break, we have diaper, we have pails, we clean it up right away.
Are you intending on doing any blasting?
Yes, it is a limestone quarry, it will require blasting.
And you will notify neighbors and things when these things
We
take
will
place?
create a neighbor call list. lowest, and we will maintain the levels below the Minnesota regulations.
Where are the closest residential areas or residences to my, if I could ask?
Less than a mile.
No, thank you, appreciate that. I guess that answers my question.
4 people, less than a mile.
We blast at many of our quarries with homes less than 500 feet away, so
And that makes them real happy, I bet, too.
it's not a problem.
For you it isn't, for them it is.
Do you set up, I don't know what they
Seismographs.
Yeah, sensors so far away,
Right.
and if somebody has a concern, set it next to their,
We talk to the neighbors and those who will allow us. We typically are required to set it at the closest home to the quarry. We typically go out in the cardinal directions and put them in each direction so we know what's going on.
but you have to get permission for people to do that.
We ask them, and we're required to go to the closest home off the
Okay.
quarry, and then we ask the other people if they'd like one there.
Okay.
Didn't Matthew used to have more quarries, though? Didn't there used to be more than 3 before, just a while back?
Yeah, the Horn Quarry we had over the years, we've had other quarries in the area. We've got quarries north of town in
Yeah.
Winona County.
I used to have keys to all your quarries once, so I
Do you have
kind of remember.
quarries in
where they were.
Trumpelow and?
At this point, could we limit the questions, please, to this project? These are very
I'm
appropriate.
asking
These are
about
very
how the
appropriate.
company functions.
These are very appropriate topics for a public hearing when everybody can hear that's interested. But this is informational for this board tonight, and your questions are giving us a lot of information. So please limit it to this project. And
Well, I
we'll-
only
we'll-
ask that because a lot of quarries have been abandoned and left, not reclaimed in Trumpelow County, and they are deserted. People don't have the jobs, everything is gone, it's just left. Do they have anything like that in Trumpelow County and elsewhere north of La Crosse and into central Wisconsin?
We have
Have you closed?
hundreds of quarries in Wisconsin, and we have 130 some quarries in Minnesota, and they're all in different stages of operation. I don't know if you're referring to the frac sand in Trumpelow County or not, but we actually don't have any limestone quarries in Trumpelow County. We have sand pits, but we have quarries in other counties around Trumpelow. Unfortunately, in Wisconsin, a lot of the quarries that were left abandoned by counties and townships because they didn't want to comply with the reclamation law. And there were some contractor quarries as well that were left unreclaimed because they didn't want to comply with the reclamation law. But all of the contractors, all of the counties and townships that have quarries in Wisconsin today have to comply with the NR 135 law. So even though it may look like an abandoned quarry, if there's any activity there, there's a bond on it and there's reclamation on it. So
They just aren't doing it.
they're just not using the quarry, man.
Any other questions from the public?
And is there close to, us? how, there's not
Mr.
a
Chips,
clean?
would you let the public answer the
Oh, I
question that
beg
I
your
just
pardon.
asked?
I'm sorry.
I thought you were public.
Sir, do you have any questions? Thank you. Mr. Chips?
The closest stream, there's no stream close by to there or running through the property, right?
No, that's a highland quarry, maybe down in the valley, there may be an intermittent one. We will have those located on our application as well.
I have no further questions, sir. Thank you.
Any other questions from the public? Any other questions from the board?
You're gonna be at the supervisor's meeting next week?
We feel it's necessary to come. This, until the county gets its zoning change approved.
Yeah, we'll follow their plan, I guess.
There's really no need to come.
No, and we can wait, I mean, I'm assuming the process would be planning commission, public hearing, maybe multiple meetings, and then,
Correct.
and then final board at some point. And like I say,
Yeah,
we want to do this right, and we want to walk through the steps, and if we, even if we got to have an informational meeting before we have a public hearing, we're willing to do that, so we can
Well,
explain what we're doing.
I guess-
Once you apply, we have 30 days
To act.
to act and get everything going. So I would leave it up to Larry and you all to discuss if there's a bigger need for an information informational meeting before you make application.
I think that gives us some flexibility as opposed to coming in and we got 30 days to yay or nay and
Right.
not time to work.
So why don't you work those details out with Larry?
Yep, we're fine with that.
I guess what I was thinking is, wasn't necessary that you come to this tonight, but it's very helpful.
Very much.
And it's up to you, but it may be as well for the supervisors to get this same information, so they're up to speed and they know what's at. But there's, I mean, this is the board that you'd be coming to, and so it's up to you if you want to, you know, provide that courtesy or.
We got nothing to hide. Like I said,
No.
we're here for a long-term preservation of a quarry
Yeah.
that we know is not gonna change activity anytime soon, but we wanna go on record that it's there. We
Mhm.
wanna do what's right. We'll get the CUP. And then we know we have a positive reserve that we can count
Please don't
on.
take that as a negative. You're more than welcome to come. I mean, it's usually, there's thousands of people there. It's just packed. Parking can be a problem.
There's 3 people, there's more people at this meeting than we've had in months.
If you're not gonna forward it to the board, then we won't come.
Well, we will give them our 5, you know,
If you'd like us there, we'll
3 minute or-
gladly be there. If,
like I say, I think it'd be a good courtesy to
Sure.
them. Just like for us, it wasn't necessary, but it's really beneficial to know where you're at and what we're gonna be looking for, and we can communicate with you, and if we have a problem, we'll give you a call.
not a problem. We'll gladly.
Do you each have a business card?
Mr. Cummings, you mentioned a change in the county zoning. What pertaining to this here?
I have
What?
no idea, I'm not on the county board.
But you just said that we're waiting for a change in the county
We're
zoning.
waiting for them to get their whole zoning board updated.
There's zoning,
Well, no,
Board?
we're waiting for them to deal with this.
I'll bring one in, Larry. I'll go into the car.
All right, that's fine.
that's all they're dealing with, Larry? Because I just was listening to what you just said, you and Mr. Cummings just
We're
said.
not waiting for this, for their changing their zoning.
I'll bring one in.
I didn't know,
Waiting for them to go through this process.
I didn't realize,
In
that-
my opinion.
I guess I didn't realize the county was changing their zoning.
Well.
That's what Larry,
I don't know that they are.
Mr. Cummings just said that.
We don't know if they are.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Larry, your report.
Oh, I don't have much to report. There's,
Yep, you're
Do you
welcome.
happen to have a card?
I'll bring one. You're not gonna go grab one.
Thank you. Thank you.
where's the sign?